clear. Toast to the ones that want it. Toast to the right and wrongs. I am the guy that they wrote off. They was afraid of my solo. I gave them 40 right in the 4/4. They labeled me, called me a show off. And I don't know what I did to them. Sound like a solo problem. All I'ma say about it. Where the hell my cup? Now it's gone. No, my name was on it.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It is me, your boy Rico no Suave here. You already know I am super happy to actually be back with each and every one of you guys. Oh, wait. Oh, man. I mean, I tell you, when it's time to dress up for everybody, it's time to dress up for everybody. That includes you. So welcome to the Rico no Suave show. We got a fun-filled, packed show as far as for you guys today, and I'm super, super happy. Hopefully you guys are ready to get it on because I know that I'm ready to get it on. You know, this is the last day, but it's always forever, ever, forever Autism Month as far as for us. So everyone, you know, Autism Awareness Month for all of the organizations throughout the world and also for families, mothers, you know, that actually has, you know, kids that's autism, and also the adults as well, too, that actually has been diagnosed as far as with autism. You know, they're very good organizations, and hey, you just like us, you have a gift, and we are here to actually make sure that you stay positive as far as with that gift as well too. You know, autism, man, I've actually had a chance to actually, you know, cook alongside with autism adults as well as on like through Zoom as well too, and just having a great time with actually kids that actually has autism, and just, you know, seeing their faces just smile and just talking to them and having a great time. But everybody should always, you know, always prepare as far as with people that actually with organizations. Don't forget to donate to your local organizations or organizations across the world. Make sure you go ahead and donate to them, volunteer, help with any type of event that they may have, so you can always feel good that you're actually helping out to make the world better. All right, everybody, it's time. Hey, I got to introduce this gentleman here. And, you know, this is another great stepping stone as far as for the Rico no Suave show, because the show that this gentleman has been a screenwriter for, I have to say that my mom's name is Blanche. And this is something special for me to be able to have this gentleman on my show as well, too. He has had so many TV awards. He has many accolades. He is a comedic screenwriter. He is the bomb. Everybody, I want you guys to put your hands together for none other. Coming to the show right now, Stan, the man, Zimmerman. Let's go. Hey, Stan, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. There we are. There we go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Us in our blue jackets, huh?
We got some cool jackets on, man. I know. Yeah. We had to come correct. We got to let them know how good we look.
Mine is vintage corduroy.
Well, you went back on me. You went back on
me. I looked back a few years, yes.
Mine's just a little bit of cotton with a little bit of rayon in it.
Oh, okay. It's always good to have a little rayon.
I always have a good rayon in. How you doing, Stan?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes,
I feel like I should have some plants here, though. I need some greenage.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my little jungle in the back of me. That's what I do, you know. I wanted to actually put some coconuts back there, but I just couldn't. I mean, it would take a little bit. I've been eating the whole thing or drinking, I should say, all of the coconuts. I couldn't
And
do
where
it
where
still.
are you? Are you in New York?
I'm in Chicago.
Chicago. Love
Yes, sir.
Chicago.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. You got to come to Chicago, man. We got to hang out when you come to Chicago.
I would
You
love
know,
to. I was there the past 2 years for the Golden Girls Con, which
nice.
was so much fun, and
Yes.
meeting thousands of fans came there, and we just
Nice.
had a great time. And I just love the city. We were down at the Sheraton on the water, and it was just
Okay.
beautiful.
Hey, Stan, before we get this interview going, when you talk about Chicago, food goes along with it. So, did you have pizza?
I did not. um, don't hate me. Don't hate me. I found this great sushi place near the hotel that was actually I love sashimi, and
Okay.
I've been twice, and it's real. I should find the name of it, but maybe they'll give me some free meals next time. But yeah, we had down at the Navy Pier was the first con, and that was
Okay.
pretty to be down there. It was beautiful.
Okay. Hey, if you're in Chicago, and do you eat pizza? Do you like pizza?
Again, you're gonna kill me. I mean, I ate it. Here's a weird story. As a
Okay.
kid, I never ate it. Isn't that weird? I was
Okay.
like one of the only kids that didn't eat pizza. And then
What?
I went to I know, I just didn't. And then I was a very finicky eater. And then I went to New York, and I was like, oh my God, there's Indian food and Chinese food and Thai food. And I was like, I love it all. And then I started eating pizza, and I was so poor that I ate a slice of pizza
Okay.
at like 3 or 4. It could be lunch and dinner.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where I was.
Okay.
After college, New York is a tough town and very expensive, and but I
Yes.
needed to be there
Yeah.
until I made the migration to Los Angeles.
Okay. Now they do have California. I guess they have a style of California pizza or whatsoever. But the reason why I talk a lot about it because people always tell me who has the great pizza,
Hmm.
and they just don't understand what Chicago really offers with great pizza. It's pizza, hot dogs, Italian beef.
Well, deep dish pizza. I mean, Detroit. I'm from Detroit, so we were known for Little Caesars. And so
Yes.
that was pretty great. But New York pizzas, I have to say, when I do go to New York, I have to have a piece of pizza. It calls me because like you're walking home late at night, and you might have had something to drink or something. And
Yeah.
pizza places are in every corner,
Yeah.
and they're just like, Stan, come in, come in. And I kind of consider myself a New Yorker. You got to fold it the right way. The oil
Yes.
go down a little bit. You get a little extra cheese and pepperoni.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you can't fold your pizza when you're here with me.
No
Stan, that's not
folding.
gonna happen. No, you can't do that because we hold it with because it's thick, right? We
Yeah,
hold
I
it.
know.
There's no
Yeah,
flipping.
there's no folding.
Yeah, there's
No.
no folding. Not at all,
Yeah.
sir. Not at
Okay.
all. Yeah, I can't wait for you to come to Chicago.
Okay.
We're gonna have a pizza party. We're gonna
Okay.
have a little pizza party at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just for a little bit, and then we'll let you
Okay.
go back to sushi.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Stan. You know what, man? You listen. The word for today is golden, right? This is a
Okay.
golden episode right now.
Lady
Yes, yes,
Pines.
Shady Pines, baby, Shady
Okay.
Pines. Let's go. Let's get it on because
Okay.
every story, every journey, every success story always have a beginning, right? With you becoming that comedic screenwriter or just writing in general, where did it all start for you?
Uh, in this crazy head of mine,
Hmm.
I was a very unpopular kid, and so my imagination went wild. I was obsessed with television, but I also loved creating plays in my basement, and I would get the other neighborhood kids to come and be in them. And then for some reason, I got up the nerve and asked my second grade teacher, Mrs. Golden, who I just reconnected with because of my book and doing the book tour. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, to talk to your second grade teacher after
Yeah.
a billion years, but to thank her. So she let
Yes.
me do the play without even seeing it. She had me do the play with other students for the class. And then she called my mother and she said, there's this really wonderful summer theater program called Cranbrook Theater School that I think Stan should go to. And that kind of changed my life. And I found my tribe. I found just what I love to do. And I went to that summer theater camp, except the plays were horrible. They were very corny about princesses and prince and peas and whatnot. And I had to make them funny. So I would kind of change them a little bit and got big, big laughs. And when I started hearing the laughs, I just knew that was something I had to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, when you're taking it to that level of knowing that you have to make a change somewhere, especially when it comes to comedy. Why comedy though? Like because there's so many, and we're going to talk about this a little later as well in the show. But you know, comedy it just makes people laugh. It makes people smile. But comedy has to touch you. How was life growing up? Was it always like, you know, hey man, I always gotta smile. I gotta make sure that I make people smile. How was it? What was it like?
Well, my mother used to say that I came out of the womb laughing.
Nice.
My brother came out screaming. I came out with laughing and a big smile. So she said that was just my personality. And so I kind of believe that, you come out with a personality. So I
Yeah.
always loved making people laugh. And there's just something weird about it. And I've often thought about why do we make that sound of ha ha ha? Where does that
Right.
come from? What
Yes.
tickles some people but doesn't tickle others? I'll be watching a play or movie or TV show and I'll laugh at just the weirdest things that just, but I think that's so cool to be able to kind of know what would make people laugh. I've just always have known that. And it was also a mechanism to survive just as a kid and wanting to be accepted and loved in a world where I really wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think through humor, it was my way of like, oh, I can make someone laugh, or it's just my disposition, and it's a fun thing, and I loved watching people laugh, uh,
Yes.
or comics. I was a big, big fan of Lily Tomlin, who was a Detroiter. I loved variety shows. I loved like the Flip Wilson show. I loved Norman Lear shows, like All in the Family and the Jeffersons and Sanford and Son was a big show for me to watch. Uh,
Nice.
so I was just drawn to that. That's how I wanted to spend my time.
You know, because, you know, those are like purely like classic shows, but those shows also just make you feel like reality too, right? Because when you talked about Sanford and Son, in Chicago, we got those junkyards, right? We got those, and we have those people that actually just makes you laugh, even when you come into like a junkyard area, and just it just makes you feel like there's reality that goes along with it. But it also touches the screen to let people know, man, no matter how you live, you're living to actually make yourself happy, but also when people come into your space, you want them to be happy as well too. And I kind of like that about what you're saying about how you grew up listening and watching these shows because now, of course, look at how you're doing over time to be able to make other people laugh. And I think that's cool. Now, you said your brother came out screaming. Is he still screaming to today?
Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
he
I'm sorry
had
about that.
some difficult times. But my father's business was recycling paper, so I would go down, and there would be just these yards where they would like junk, kind of like
Yeah,
Sanford and Son,
yeah.
but bales of paper like wrapped up. And so he was involved with recycling paper before recycling was a thing.
Hmm.
Like, had he really been kind of a little more with it, I think he could have propelled that into a business that is very profitable today. But unfortunately, he didn't have the best business sense, and I did not want to go into that business. I knew that, but I was fascinated to go downtown and to see parts of where he worked and just to see how other people lived, and I was always soaking in. Um, Very early on, an acting teacher said, "Go to a mall, watch people." So I've
Yeah.
always been kind of an outsider observer. So, like,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the first day of school, they would say, "Where do you want to sit?" I would always sit near the door in back so I could just kind of see everything. And I think
Yeah.
that says a lot about who you are, where you chose to sit in your classroom. Some people really wanted to be up front, but I like having the whole view of everybody, but also a door so I could get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was always in the middle. I never wanted to be in the back
Middle?
because yeah, the middle. I was in the middle of the
Why?
class. It's crazy because I had friends that actually sat in the middle, so I always sat in the middle as far as with them. And then of course, I was never the kid that raised my hand, right? It was just not that. But the teacher, of course, just called upon me. And I'm like, oh, I guess since I'm in the middle, I guess I'm gonna get picked on while I'm in this session. That even happened even in high school. Like I don't know why I picked the middle, but I guess I want to be surrounded, by a lot of people, and
And
that
you
was
knew
kind of
you
my
were going
life.
to get picked on, and you still sat there.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So you wanted the attention, I think, a little bit. Come on, admit
Just a
it.
little bit, just a little
Yeah.
bit. I was actually a shy guy. I was a shy guy in high school and also in college. But I love being around people though. I love like joking with my friends and joking with
When
other
did all
people.
this happen?
Huh?
When
When
did
did
all
all
this
this
happen?
happen right here?
Yeah.
It always stuck with me. You know what, Stan? My mom was always wanted me to be on commercials. She told me, I want you to be on commercials. And my mom, bless her heart, we always joke, we're loud. We got a loud family. And she always said, I'm gonna have you on commercials. So this is where this is going right here. Right here,
Okay.
Stan. Right
Now
here.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Stan, because there's a lot that you have done during the time of, from maybe let's talk about high school, and then from then on. When it came down to you screenwriting, did you also write for like different plays or other like short films in your career?
I was just obsessed with television, and I wanted to write for television. I
Nice.
even created my own network in my bedroom, and I had 7 days of programming. So I just studied
Wow.
television. I watched television. So that was kind of the medium that I was hoping to be involved with. But because I was not an avid reader and I didn't do that well in English class, I didn't think I could be a writer. But I
Hmm.
knew I had great ideas, and I knew I was clever. I was told a lot by my relatives that I was clever. I would make all the holiday cards or birthday cards. My mother would just say, "We're not going to the store. You just make Stan will make one." And I got really creative with making it. They each got their own very unique birthday card made by moi.
Yes.
So I did get some enforcement that I had that gene, and but then I just really wanted to be an actor, and I thought that was where I was going to live. And
Nice.
so I started going to this summer theater camp at age 7.5, and I just found this is, I felt very comfortable on stage and auditioned to get into NYU. I was in my plays at my high school, Southfield High School, and loved the theater department and all the friends that I made there, and still friends with a lot of them. And then being in New York, I thought I was going to come out to LA, but then I went to a summer theater program in New Hampshire, and
Hmm.
everybody said if you want to be a serious actor, you have to go to New York. So I was driven to go to New York, and luckily my mother worked really hard and to able to pay for it, and I got work study program and was able to get to NYU.
Nice. Nice. You know, NYU, that's awesome. You know,
But it's scary to be in New York
I know. I
to being
know.
riding your bike up to the drugstore, the movie theater in a suburb of Detroit. I was near 10 Mile, and playing in the backyard, and that was just a very suburban life. And
Yeah.
then suddenly you're in New York, and there's subway.
The city life, right?
And back then, 42nd Street was scary. To go from
Mm,
Broadway to 8th Avenue, to me, it was just like a foreign world. And there were, drugs and prostitutes. And I kind of
yeah.
like, I thought if I could make it from Broadway to 8th, I had like, I had strong, I could survive. And So I, with my fake little down jacket, and I just ran from one avenue to the next.
Man. Yeah, I
But
think that can be a big difference. It's definitely a big difference when you actually see something, like that, and that's actually happening. It's especially as, at a younger age, and, if you're not used to something like that, it kind of throws you off. It's just like going into a different world, different neighborhood, and you're like, man, where am I? What am I supposed to do? I know I need to go through A to B, but man, how does C work? And I need to get back to
you
A.
figure it out, and
Yep.
that's a great thing about being that age, and you just you push through, and you go, okay, I can do that, and I can survive, and I can figure it out, and being on your own. And I was 17 when I went to college, and I
Okay.
was most of the people in my program were transfer students, so they were all older, and they just expected me like jump in, like come
Yeah.
on, I'm like,
Yeah.
but I don't know anything, and very naive. But I figured it out pretty quickly. I think I had a lot of survival techniques that I developed growing up, and I was able to use them in New York. And there's just something about New York. I just love the city. The minute I land there, I just feel like I'm home. I like walking. I like seeing. There's something about just the urban lifestyle that is very comforting to me.
I like that because since you're a visual person and you like to see the atmosphere as far as what you walk into, or if you're just sitting on the outside, I love outdoor dining, right? I like the people watch. I like to see different style, people artsy, people just having a great time, people walking their dogs. But it also gives you idea that you feel like, man, I'm around good people. I'm around people that love to be happy as well too. And it's good that you feel that way when you're actually in New York. But
What?
I've been trying to hold my tongue in regards to not talking about the Golden. Now,
Okay, Golden
we
Girls.
we
Let's
we gotta
get
get
to
we gotta
Miami.
get to it. We gotta
Let's take
get
the
to
plane to Miami. All right, we're landing. Main Boulevard, we're there. Blanche, your mom. Uh, where do you want to go? Do you want
Yeah,
some?
let's go.
Let's
Hey,
get some
let's go
cheesecake
to
and orange juice. Okay.
hey, when it comes to you getting that role of the Golden Girls, I need to know, how was that process? How did you get that role to become that writer from the Golden Girls? Talk to us
Well, we
about
were
that.
baby writers. We had been on staff for one show. We were writing a bunch of episodes, and our agent got us a meeting at this new show about four older women. And so they asked us to come in and pitch episode ideas. They were handing out one or two freelance episodes to see who could write them to bring them on staff.
Hmm.
And we got a job, and we wrote it, and we studied the show. The show was not on the air yet, so they were just starting to film them. So
Hmm.
we would go to free tapings and just take in every word. And I knew the actresses, from
Yes.
past shows, and I couldn't believe we were actually writing for them. And they read our first rough drafts, and they're like, "These guys got it. Let's bring them on staff," because they had a very small group. And so we were the baby writers on the show, and I knew even then it was something special. And we were there watching the show go from a show nobody expected would be a hit to the ratings going up every week. And luckily, I think my Midwest background really taught me to appreciate every moment. And I did stop and think and look around and take in, I'm here at this unique point in history. Of
Hmm.
course, not knowing that we'd be talking about it all these years later, and there would be
Right.
generation after generation after generation of getting to watch the show and appreciate it. And I meet these young kids. I mean, they obviously were not born during the original time it was on the air,
Sure.
and they know lines from every episode. Whenever I do these cons or I do a Golden Girls cruise, they have trivia contests. And everybody wants me on their team. And I go, no, you don't. I don't remember anything. We were on it the first season, and that's when a lot of the character stuff was developed. But as a writer and having a career, I just moved on into other shows, and Didn't really watch it that much. I'd occasionally check in with it because I became very friendly with Estelle Getty. I would kind of want to keep up with how she's doing with it, but it's not something I watch regularly.
So, getting to know the staff, and man, because there's so many things I want to ask about this show. Because
Ask,
of
ask.
yes, because of you writing the mindset to be able to connect with the Golden Girls, because each one of them had their comedic way, or they were kind of an icon in their own way. And when you see them working together, it was like a masterpiece of a show. Each episode was hilarious, or of course, you had a little bit of drama in there as well too over time. What was your mindset when you were writing, trying to keep it in the comedy section of each person's role? How were you defining that?
Well, remember, I didn't study writing at college and
Yeah.
obviously not in high school. So a show like The Golden Girls was writing 101 class for us. And one of the things we learned early on that show was you had to write specifically for each character. They all sounded very different.
Yeah.
And you couldn't put one joke in one's mouth and then put it in another. And you definitely, the script went out, if it was a Blanche line and it didn't work, you couldn't just give it to Dorothy. Like that was like, you don't do that. So you have to be specific
Right.
in your writing. And just the creation of the show, what Susan Harris did was so wonderful, is that she created 4 very different women. None of them sounded like the other one.
Correct.
So that's why each joke had to sound very specific and come from them. And even like when I went on Roseanne, there were 21 writers, and a lot of them were Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr's stand-up comedy friends. And they were, really hysterical, but some of their jokes were just jokes. And we had to teach them how to write from the character. And so I learned, because I never thought of myself as like a comedy funny writer, like a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
But I think I can be funny through a character in a situation. And that's just the way I look at life. So that's how I'm able to do it in my writing as well.
Man, that is awesome. Because, when you're watching these shows and you're watching, the way that they react to each other, and how one person can walk in and then just crack a joke, and then you hear, of course, you hear the sound effects. Or was it also, did they also
No,
have a
those
live
are real
audience?
laughs. Those are real laughs.
Yeah.
It's in
That's
front of a live audience. And
Yes.
as people got to know these characters and love them, we had to cut the shows down because the laughter got bigger and longer. So when like B. Arthur comes in a room and she looks at Betty White,
Yeah.
people are just laughing.
Yeah.
They are already anticipating what she's going to say, and they know it's going to be hysterical. And that's what was so fun to see audiences come in and already go from they don't know anything about them to suddenly they're coming in like, oh, yay, here's Sophia. She's going to have a joke that's going to – I always talk about her jokes at the end of the scene, like hitting it out of the ballpark, each one.
Yeah.
Like we'd give her the ball and she'd go and then the audience would just scream with laughter. We were very, very lucky, but it's hard. I get a lot of scripts from other people, or when I taught sitcom writing, to explain to people, all your characters have to be different. And why do you make each character a specific way? Those 4 people fit in that house. And it was magic in a bottle, but having someone that was very sexual like Blanche, and having someone that was a little bit more of a bubblehead like Rose, it just all those pieces fit together. And you have to think of that when you're creating a show.
Yeah. When, excuse me, kind of choked up because I'm excited.
Okay, just relax, take your time. Do you have like a vodka or something there?
I do have tequila. I do have tequila
You?
over here. Yeah, I do.
You didn't tell me I could do that. Wow.
I didn't want people to know I was going to get drunk on a show with Stan,
Yeah, this is all vodka.
That's all.
Nice.
Stan, when it comes down to the Golden Girls, how many seasons was it total for them or for
I
you?
was only on season one. I want to say 8, 9,
Eight,
maybe
nine.
more, maybe 10. I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, I know in the end, B. Arthur was like, "I'm done. I've had it."
Yeah.
And then they did a little spin-off show called The Golden Palace,
Mm.
with Cheech Marin was in it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's kind of frowned upon in the Golden Girls community. It just didn't have quite the magic. And I've often thought about what I would have done had I been given that assignment of what to do to keep Golden Girls alive. I would have had like a really beautiful episode, B. Arthur leaves, but then bring on somebody new. There are plenty
Right.
of wonderful women actors out there that I think would have been a fun addition to that little group.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Stan, because we can talk about this for hours, but we got to take a quick commercial break. And I'm hoping you're having a great time. I'm having a blast. I'm loving that you're here with me right now. So I'm glad that you drank some vodka before we went to commercial break to
Do I
see
have time to get another shot?
you do.
Okay.
All right, everybody. You already know it's Stan Zimmerman. Yes, he is the author, writer, director, producer. You already know. We're talking Golden Girls. Everybody, we'll be back in a few seconds. We'll see you back. Let's go. All right, everybody, welcome back. It is me, Rico No Suave, and we have better communications. We are doing something great for you guys. If you want to become a better communicator, you want to get more involved as far as how to communicate on stage, if you want to become a host, an MC, or just better communication within your peers, look no further because we have it here. Rico No Suave teamed up with Better Communications LLC. You have to go to this website, everybody, and take this training. The training is only 2 hours, but we're giving you a discount of 10% RNSS at checkout. Go to the website, beabettercommunicator.com. Go ahead and start your communication today. Make sure you apply that code because, hey, we want you just to be speaking well to everybody, right? And know how to be able to read that body language. All right, let's get back to my man, Stan, the man, Zimmerman. Let's go. Stan, you
How's
there?
my body language? How's that going?
That was good. Your body language is good. Your body language is good. I'll see in a few minutes to see if you're swerving. If you're
I
swerving.
gotta check my skills out here.
Yeah, you got the skills, man. You got the skills to pay the bills. That's what I tell. That's what I tell people. Stan, with working with Betty White and working as far as with the Golden Girls as well too, their style of how you made that show, happen when you were writing for them. Did they ever forget any of their lines?
That's been a big controversy in the Golden Girls Facebook groups.
Hmm.
There's a famous scene that everybody says it was improv. And, I do hang out in the rooms. I lurk in the rooms on Facebook. And when they start saying that it was improv, I start typing in, no. Season 1, they said every single word that we wrote. They're such good actors. It seems like improv, but it actually was all scripted. And, people write in, oh, who the hell are you? And you don't know anything. And then other people will like, no, he's a writer on the show. And nobody will believe me. But yeah, on that show, it was not improv. It was really the writers. And I have to say, those actors always were thanking us on every talk show, every article that they were interviewed for. They knew how special it was to have such consistent, interesting, good writing that really delved into character and challenged the characters as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome because I always thought that, because, when you're laughing, and even if they wanted to laugh at something that they actually said, and all of a sudden it kind of gives them that, that, what do you call that? The memory block, I can't remember my next word because I'm laughing so
Oh,
hard.
that happened a lot,
Did
and that's why there were so many, great bloopers from the show.
Yeah.
Uh, and then there was a famous story that there was a scene with, I guess it was a calendar, and the crew guys the night before, they either got very naked or in the underwear, but they took pictures and put it in the calendar, and then didn't tell them till the actresses were in the scene filming it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
then suddenly see all the crew members in the pictures, and they bust out laughing. But that was not used in the show. I mean, that was just something that they did. So,
yeah,
after a
yeah.
while, you play little pranks on people, and and Betty White was always known for cracking jokes, and if somebody broke character on something, she would always had a really funny, snappy response. And did even on Hot in Cleveland. I was studying with the director on that show. I was thinking of possibly directing some sitcoms. So I shadowed the director for a couple episodes, and I got to reconnect with Betty later on in her life.
That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. It's just listening to your story and listening to how you actually write, but also your connection as far as with, the Golden Girls is such it's an iconic but legendary moment, I'm sure, for yourself. And looking back in regards to what you've done as far as for them and just keeping the world happy. Man, you you kept us laughing. That's all I have to say. I mean, it was you behind the scenes, but of course, it's basically the words and things that you written to come out of their mouths to us is like, oh man, this is golden right here. This is golden all
Well,
the
I
way
love to
through.
hear from people. It's interesting when people come up to me, they're like, I hope I'm not bothering you. I'm like, no, I want to hear how the show affected you.
Yeah.
Uh, because people don't recognize me on the street like they would an actor that's in a show.
Hmm.
But when they find out that I wrote for it, they tell me such beautiful stories, or how they connected with different relatives or their grandmas to watch it. Yeah, of course, it makes me feel old, but um, I love that a show can bring people together. Gilmore Girls did that too. I mean, there are very few shows that were about mothers and daughters, and so many mothers and daughters got to sit down and watch a TV show together.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age when we're all fragmented in our lives and we're watching, programs on our phones or
Yeah.
watches or whatever.
Yeah.
To actually sit down as a family or just with one other person and have a
Yeah.
shared experience. And I think that's why I'm also loving getting back involved in theater, because it's a shared experience. You're in one room.
Yes.
And again, for me, it's hearing that laughter. And
Yeah.
although in the past few years, I've been getting very involved in theater that's marrying art and advocacy together, I have directed a lot of comedies, and I talk to my cast and tell them, like, that's needed too. Yes, it's great to open people's minds, which I think you can also do in comedy,
Yeah.
but we need to just be able to laugh for a half hour on television or an hour and a half in a theater, and
Yeah.
let your mind go just a little bit. And that's a beautiful thing that I feel very lucky to be a part of.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're definitely saving people lives. I always say that, laughing, keeps a lot of the depression away. And when we have that, it makes us feel like we have something to live for, to be able to be positive. Even when the sun is not shining, you watch a good episode of the Golden Girls, or Roseanne, or Gilmore Girls as well, which you're going about what we're about to talk about in a few minutes. It's just such a great thing to be able to have. Like I said, it's coming back to you in regards to what you done to be able to keep the world, staying afloat during that time, to basically make us feel like, man, this is awesome, man. The writers is just killing it, and also the actors and the whole staff. Let's
But
talk
there's so many
about.
people that tell me about, oh yeah, I go to sleep to Golden Girls every night. I'm like, that puts you to sleep? So I mean, I should talk. I watch
with a
MS.
smile.
Yeah, I watch MSNBC at night, and like the whole world is going to explode. I'm like, how can you go to sleep with that? But maybe I should switch to Golden Girls. Yeah, I don't know if it would help with residuals, but uh, if it brings you comfort,
Yeah,
go with God.
that's right. Switching gears to Gilmore Girls, because
Hmm.
that was another,
You're just going
high.
to skip over Roseanne, huh?
No, not yet, not yet. Because Roseanne, I
She
want
won't
to come.
allow that. She will find you. She will hunt you down. She will choke you. I don't know what she would do to you, but
Tell Roseanne, I'll need to
very,
see her.
very careful around her. Yeah, I'm ready
Don't.
for a cage. I'm ready for a cage match. Yeah.
No, no, the only reason why I talk about that, and yeah, don't tell Roseanne I did that. But if you have the Gilmore and you have the Golden, right?
Mm.
Because the transition between the two, what was the mindset behind? Because you still had comedy, but you had so much. Would you say you had much more comedy as far as within the Golden Girls than you had on the Gilmore Girls?
Well, they're different formats. One was a multicam show in front of a live studio audience, and Gilmore Girls was an hour show filmed more like a movie. So you
Mm,
could get into things that were, it was never like super, super heavy, but it was relationship oriented. And the year that I was on Gilmore Girls, our whole theme was relationships coming together and falling apart and coming together.
mm,
And so that was really cool way to explore each relationship, whether it was a love relationship or family relationship, each were tested. And I feel very fortunate that I got to work on Gilmore Girls and experience what that was like to have the luxury of an hour script to really, you know, explore all those different characters. And then it was super fun because it took place in this weird little town in Connecticut. And so it was unlike most shows, also because the creator, Amy Sherman Palladino, I met her on Roseanne, and there was a very much she brought to Gilmore Girls a comedy sensibility that you would find on a sitcom. So each scene
yeah,
kind of had a little arc to it and a little joke at the end,
yeah,
which hour shows don't normally do, but in half hours you do. And I think that's why it has just a different rhythm to it.
yeah, yeah. Because your mindset definitely had to change in regards to. Now, how did you get that? How did you get that role with the Gilmore Girls?
My writing partner Jim Berg and I were in a development deal. I think at that time still at Lorimar. We had a many-year contract there, and very, very grateful for that. And then Amy was having issues finding writers that she trusted.
Mm,
She was going through writers a lot, and no one was sticking on the show that she really liked. And I think she wanted some stability, and so
yeah,
she invited me and Jim out to the Chateau Marmont, which is this kind of super cool old school Hollywood hotel and martinis, and that's all it took was a martini,
yeah. Not
and I'll
tequila.
do anything. And well, not anything, but was a nice offer. And she said, "Would you go out of development and come on staff on the show for a year?" And I didn't think my writing partner would want to do it, but he did. And so I'm so glad I did. I've met so many wonderful people from
Nice.
that show. Obviously, the cast and the writers and the crew, but the fans of this show have been so wonderful to me and taking me in as family and have been so
Yeah,
supportive. And without them, I don't think I would have really stuck with the book and really, they did pressure me to write it. I see them every fall at the Fan Fest Society in Connecticut or Maine, and they just been a wonderful group of people, and a lot of them follow me around. Some came to Chicago when I did the Golden Con and
nice.
supported me there. Some just came to New York. I did a big book signing at the Drama Bookshop, and there was a group of 10 wonderful women in the front row.
That's so cool.
Zimmer,
That is
Zimmer
so.
fans. They're
Yeah,
called Zimmer
Zimmer fans.
Zimmer fans. Yeah.
When it comes down to, of course, people, just recognizing you, and you have these accolades as far as awards. Can you tell the audience in regards to some of the awards that you were being presented, or you actually won?
No, because I never win anything. I think I've won
Oh.
one award. We got nominated for 2 Writers Guild awards, one for Golden Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And, for a young kid, your first big show, and it was
Yeah.
season 1, and we got nominated from our peers. That was very, very exciting. We get to the big glamorous, banquet hall in Beverly Hills, and they bring us to our table, which is right in front of the stage and the podium.
Oh, wow.
So I said, Jim, I think we won. Like, what are we going to say? Neither of us had planned a speech. And we're like, we got to hurry up and think of something because we're going to have to go up there. And Rue McClanahan came over to say hi, and so did Estelle. And then they presented the award, and we lost.
Oh.
But it really is true. Just to be nominated, it was such a
Yeah.
cool thing. And then to have it again happen with ROSEANNE episode was
Yep.
just, it was really nice. I mean, of course, it'd be nice to have a real award.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just to be acknowledged, and really, I feel so lucky. The awards, I get rewards, and the rewards are knowing that I've made people laugh, and all of that I get back. It has been really just a really special gift to me that I am grateful every single day about.
Yeah. Well, we love you here, man. We love you here. Stan the Man Zimmerman. You are the bomb. And
that's it. Now we can really drink?
Now we can really drink after these messages. Because we gotta take a break. And I think
what
you're
about
gonna
questions from people? Any questions?
Yeah, when we come back, we got a few questions coming from some people. We actually have some it's more comments, I think they're really just happy that, they don't have really questions, but if they do have questions, I will tell them to make sure they ask if they have any. But I think it's more they're just happy that you're on, and they're just amazed that you're here with me.
And wearing a jacket.
That's right. That's right. All right, everybody, it is my man, Stan, the Man Zimmerman. We got to get to what we call NASCAR moments. Everybody, when it comes down to NASCAR moments, it's all about that room, room. And Rico No Suave show is all about that, everybody. And one thing that we love is Talladega Nights. Talladega Nights, when I say Talladega, dear baby Jesus. I tell you, dear baby, 5-pound baby Jesus, just nice. We just pray that there's no accidents. Well, evidently, this past weekend there was some accidents, everyone, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. And nobody got hurt. I think I wouldn't say like hurt like really bad, and nobody passed away, anything like that. But the cars were actually damaged. But this was a pile up. I mean, this was pretty bad for the Talladega Nights. I mean, and I keep saying Talladega Nights because I love the movie, but Talladega for NASCAR itself. And who got through was my man, Tyler Reddick. My man, 45, of course. And you see Michael Jordan on the side there. Yeah, he is the co-owner. He is the co-owner. He actually was, Tyler was just getting crazy, man. He did a donut. It was just sick. So he was able to pass through to be able to make sure he went through that finish line. And, of course, the GOAT of all times, Tyler Reddick, wins, of course, the Talladega in Alabama, Lincoln, Alabama. And it was awesome. So congratulations to you, my man. And, yeah, you see him throwing up whatever. He's throwing up a beer, spraying it to everybody, to his team. But they rocked it out. So congratulations. And I'm sorry about the pile up, but hope everybody is okay. And I think they were when I looked at the highlights, and everybody was good to go. But congratulations to you, Tyler Reddick. You have won this year, Talladega NASCAR Geico 500. Let's get back to Stan. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, we like that too. Yeah, everybody, I'm hoping you guys are enjoying yourselves. Don't forget, please, don't forget to ask questions. All right, Stan, you still with me?
I'm with you all the way.
Right.
Never leaving.
Thank you. Never leave me, Stan. Never leave me. We're here, baby.
Okay.
So we do have a question. One, John T. for Free says, did the Golden Girls have potty mouths?
Betty White, of course she did. I mean, she was known from that potty mouth. I love that expression. Yeah, she could get a little salty. That was what was so funny. Um, yeah, you'd think it would be Rue McClanahan or B. Arthur, but Estelle was she was a lady, but
Uh-huh.
I think Betty liked to be. You could Google her. She has some really kind of risque things she would say when she'd be guest, like on the Tonight Show, and
Yeah.
she would really push the envelope where you'd be like,
Yeah.
"Really, you said that?" And I think that's what people loved about her. She was really quick-witted, and like I said, up until the end, I mean, I was kind of shocked. She would just make really funny comments just off the top of her head.
Yeah, that's and what about the other ones? Like the other ones, did they ever like after a show was done, like did they ever have like, man, I'm glad that's done, or F, I'm going to my green room, right?
Uh,
Is
yeah, well, B. Arthur probably wasn't going to the green room and have a drink. But yeah, I mean, they didn't hang out a lot after.
no,
I did go
okay.
to a birthday party at Estelle Getty's house,
Hmm.
and in walked Betty White and Rue McClanahan together. They, I
Hmm.
guess, carpooled. I don't know. Like, can you imagine? Like, what do they talk about in the car? And it was just this regular, like, second floor apartment building on Hollywood Boulevard. In La Brea. I pass it all the time, and I just think that Estelle just lived in this normal little, two-bedroom apartment while she was making Golden Girls. And then her people said, "You need to buy a car, you need to buy a house, you have to do something with all this,"
Yeah,
which is so cool that she found success of that, nature and stature
yeah,
at that age. It really, I think, shows, keep up with your dream. She always wanted to be an actor, and she did these little off-Broadway plays. She would cook dinner for her two sons and then go off to Lower Manhattan and go into these weird little plays. And then luckily one of them was Torch Song Trilogy, and it brought her to Broadway, which brought her to Hollywood and Golden Girls.
wow, wow, that is cool. I got to read off some very good comments here. And hello, Sarita Villarreal. Thank you. She said, "I love the Golden Girls." Thank you so much, Sarita. And then John T for Free says, "It sounds like an incredible show." I mean, it was. It's an incredible show. And then we do have a comment that I read from Patty Escobar. Says, "I don't have a question. I just want to tell Mr. Zimmerman that the shows he's been a part of are a part of were major for me growing up watching them. Thank you for your guest writing. Thank you."
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be a part of someone's life like that. It's an honor to be able to have my thoughts and I think my heart go through into people's living rooms or wherever you may watch your television.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. And I think we have another one. Oh, this was actually from Anita Antoinette. She actually says, "Thank you, Rico, for having Stan on your show. I really enjoying this. Stan is such a great talent and sure had me laughing with the shows he wrote for. Thank you, Stan, for being a guest tonight."
Oh, now we should sing "Thank You for Being a Friend," right?
Thank you. Right.
No,
Yes.
I can't sing. I can dance up a storm, but I'm probably the worst singer. I won't even do it in the shower. I wouldn't do that to the tiles in the sink in my shower.
That's what we sound best at, right?
No, I don't even sound good in there.
No.
I've never karaokeed. I'm not going to.
No.
I don't care how much pizza and tequila you get in me. There will be no karaoke coming out of this mouth.
Donna Marie Bird. Hello, Donna Marie Bird. She does say, we were talking about tequila earlier, of course, right? And then we were
Of
talking
course,
about, yeah, that's the after hours party. That's the after hours party.
let's
And
do it.
Donna Marie says, laughter is the best medicine. And Betty White was a healer.
She
Wow.
was. She brought people together. I
Yeah.
know we all wanted her to reach 100, but you know what? I don't know if you remember, but she passed on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
I journal, and I was journaling in my living room. I like to do a year-end kind of review. And all of a sudden my phone's buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. And I looked down and I saw that she had passed. And then I got a lot of people asking on different news programs if I would come on and speak about it. And I said, instead of being sad, we should raise a glass on New Year's Eve.
There you go.
To Betty White, that she made
Yes.
us laugh for so many years.
Yes.
And I don't think she'd want us to be sad. She'd want us to be like having a friggin' good time.
Yeah.
And speaking of tequila, I have to say, a Chicago native, Mary Lou Henner, I was in Chicago a few years ago doing a reading at Second City with her.
Okay.
And she said tequila is the cleanest drink of all of them. So
Yes.
I give that
Yes.
to you.
Yes. Yes. I'll make sure I have a bottle of some great tequila when you come here, and we
You
have to take,
better. Yes.
a few
Yeah.
shots with some great pizza and sushi for you afterwards. So we
Okay.
can definitely make that happen. Hey, you know what? You know what, Stan? We gotta talk about Roseanne. Of course, we gotta talk about that before we go, because time always fly by fast when you're having fun, especially with you, Stan. Let's talk about Roseanne. So, what was it like as far as working with her, working with the staff? What was that like?
It was scary. I mean, I keep saying that all my experiences seem to be a little bit scary, but she was scary, and she liked the writers to be in fear. She was very skeptical of them. She had had bad experiences with writers, not trusting them,
Mm,
and but I felt what she was doing with the show and saying and talking about Middle America and the struggles I hadn't seen since the days of Norman Lear, and I just thought it was just so honest and interesting. And
hmm
I was so glad to be a part of it. And I loved the writing of it. It was difficult to have that many writers and dealing with all their personalities. And that was tough. And it was very intimidating to be with such funny, funny people like Norm Macdonald, who was a writer on staff there.
Yeah.
But I so believed in the storytelling, and I'm so glad I got to write for a show like that. And in 2015, I actually went to Moscow to help them develop a Russian Roseanne show.
Oh, wow.
But that's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
That would be vodka and not tequila. And I learned how they drink vodka over there. They drink it before the meal. You're doing
Mm,
shots. You hit
mm.
they pour a shot, and then you hit the
Wow.
table and go to your mother. And
Yeah.
then there's another one to your brother, to your
Yeah.
sister. And you're going
Yeah.
like, I need food. And you're just like, shot, shot, shot. Oh, it was crazy. They thought I was like, I have to stop. I have to go home. But I did have a really interesting, wonderful time there, I have to say.
I mean, you take so many shots beforehand, you can't even pick up the fork to eat. You know, what I mean, I don't see how you can do it.
What, there's food? I don't remember any food there. I just remember the shots, but hitting the table and then clinking. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So we got to
Oh my.
talk about your book before we go, because you have a beautiful book that's out. We're gonna show. Yes, we have the book, so we definitely want to put this on the screen
There
for
you go.
the girls from Golden to Gilmore. Talk a little bit about your book, the little
Well,
synopsis.
as it says, stories about all the wonderful women I've worked with, dot, 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 and Roseanne. Um, I mean, I get asked the eternal question is, how could I write for so many women in my career? And that's why I started writing this book, is to kind of explain that and who are my inspirations and how fortunate I am, and that these women have made me a better man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like the 30,000 foot view on that one. I like that one because I want people to buy it. How can they get it?
Anywhere, but Amazon is a great place to start, and it's been doing really well. It's really easily digested chapters,
Nice.
and it's not just about. There's a lot of show business stuff, but it's also about how you survive, how I've been let go on TV shows, and how you pick yourself up and keep going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. How do you self motivate? How do you reinvent yourself?
Yeah.
And I get that a lot. Like, you just kept going, even though I got a lot of no's along the way. I was lucky to have, some very big yeses, and
Nice.
appreciating that, and always being curious, continually being curious about life evolving, never getting stuck in, well, let's stay right here. the world is changing every single day, and I'm always so curious as to why and how and which way is it going to go. So there's that, and then there's also, not to bring the room down, but dealing with grief, and I think
Sure.
that's something people have are constantly dealing with, but not realizing that the end of my book was going to be the passing of my mother, and who was my biggest cheerleader and my best friend, and I would rather that have not been the end of my book, but that's what the world dealt me. And she was a realist. She was always like, what are the cards you're dealt with? And that's what I was dealt with. And how do you do it with grace and humor and honesty and heart?
Yeah. And I think that's, she's a real VIP. She's definitely a real VIP in heaven and on earth as well too. So sorry to hear about your mom, but it's why we have them, to be able to, be disciplined in a way and also be able to learn great things from, our parents, growing up in a positive way, but then also understanding how we deal with difficult times as well. So yeah, big shout. What's your mother's name?
Suzanne with an S. Should always say Suzanne with an
Suzanne
S.
with an S.
And
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
talk to her
Beautiful.
all the time. All the time, I still talk to her, and she's so much a part of my life and
Yeah.
and who I am. And I feel very lucky that I came from her, and that we get to spend so many wonderful years together.
Yeah.
Really, really close.
That's love. What also is going to be part of your life is this. You get
Where is
this.
it? Yeah,
This is you.
get it.
This
Get
is
it
for
over
you.
here.
This is for
Okay.
you. Hey,
Okay.
this is for you. I won't even tell you to come to Chicago to pick this up, because I know if you come to Chicago, if we had tequila shots and pizza, it's just going to be a different story. But
Well, I'll be as big as that shirt if I keep eating the pizza.
So this shirt right here, Stan, this takes us to another level on our show, but having you as a legendary, person or a guest on this show, you have done so many things to be able to keep people laughing. It's funny when you say you come out of the womb laughing and just having a great time, is that the world needed you. The world needs you to actually be here, to be able to write for the Golden Girls as well as the Gilmore Girls and Roseanne as well too. So, with all of the accolades, and even though, I thought that you had awards, but to me, you are an award-winning person, right? Or writer, right? A producer, director. To us, it means a lot to us. So this right here, we want to welcome you to the Rico No Suave show family, sir. Let's go.
I can't wait to get it and wear it. So thank you for having me.
No problem. Stan, before we get out of here, we got to put up your social media, because people need to know how to find you so they won't spam you, but just follow you because they saw you on the show. Let's start
And
off with that
hopefully I'll
first
be
one.
in their city somewhere and introduce yourself.
Yes.
I love bringing my plays to different cities and a little bit of a book tour. And I love to scrounge around and explore all of America.
I love that. I love that. Let's put up that first social media for him. And yes, that is ZimmermanStan.com. Let's go, baby. Make sure you go to his website. That's where you find all of the great information about him. Please, if you're looking to do something in your city and you want to bring some of that golden girly con, all of that great stuff too, and Gilmore, just contact them there, right? Contact them there. Here's the next one. Follow him on Instagram, Zimmerman Stan. Yes.
Lots of fun pictures and stories, and I've been having continually really interesting adventures, and I chronicle all that, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're just gonna keep it there. As far as I know, you do have, I know you have Twitter as well too, but that's there, Zimmerman Stan. But just focus on the website and also on
a little TikToking too.
Yeah, a little TikTok there
Still
too.
banned, but you better not be.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm about to call you Zimmerman. So Stan, make sure you sit back, relax, don't go nowhere. But we're about to end off this show. We got to end it off right. It's always being a good friend. As far as with you, sir, you bring a lot of excitement to us, even right now and even in the past. But we wish you nothing but the best moving forward. And you know, the Rico No Suave show is always here for you, sir. Always.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, put your hands together. My man, Stan Zimmerman. Yeah. All right, everybody. Hey, we got to get out of here. We want to thank you guys so much for being on the show. We hope that you guys enjoyed yourself. Hey, we got to put up our social media before we get out of here, everyone. It's www.thericonosuaveshow.com. Make sure you please go to our website, find out everything as far as on the archives, everybody. Man, show your love for the Rico No Suave Show. Here's the next one. The next one is Rico No Suave Show. Yeah, you already know. Follow us on Instagram. Next is Facebook. Yes, you already know. We left, came back. Follow us, love us, because we love you. Next one is a big one, everybody. You got to do it. Subscribe to the Rico No Suave Show on YouTube, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. And you know, mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. Yes, make sure you go ahead and follow us there. It turns into a podcast, so you can listen to the audio of my man, Stan the Man Zimmerman. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. All right, everybody, we got to get out of here, but we hope you had a great time on the show. And always stay positive. Always continue to smile as we end off the show just like this.